Yes, it's Anastasia Mora, sorry. And I'll give the floor to Dr. Pushkar to make a presentation of evaluation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here amongst all of you. Before I introduce eValueServe, I would like to know how many of you are not from Cluj, Nabucco. If you can just raise your hands. Excellent, that's fantastic. It's just such a pleasure to see that this is a competition that is truly at the national level for Romania. And I'll come back and I'll tell you why it is so important. But before I do that, let me just take this opportunity to brief you and introduce you to eValueServe. I'm sure not too many of you have heard about eValueServe. Who are we? We are the world's first and the world's largest research and analytics company. eValueServe started 10 years ago, and we actually created the industry called the knowledge process outsourcing industry. How many of you have heard of the BPO industry? Okay. So the BPO industry existed for a very, very long time before eValueServe came into existence. Okay. The idea of the BPO industry was that they would help big companies take away the mundane work and do it for much, much cheaper cost. Which was very good for the big companies, and for a while the big companies actually took advantage and gave them a competitive edge. But then slowly what happened is that most of the big companies started outsourcing their work to BPOs. And therefore, since most of the big companies were outsourcing their work to BPOs, the competitive advantage that the BPO industry provided the big organizations became lower and lower. Nonetheless, all big companies still require information to take strategic decisions. Right? Most of the times, this information was being researched by the companies themselves. Is it okay if I just speak like this? Excellent. So what eValueServe did was we created a group of professionals that would do knowledge management and research for our clients. And what this does is that this research goes directly to the senior management of companies, and I'm talking about chief executive officers, chief operating officers, presidents, vice presidents, etc. And they use the information that we provide them for strategic business decision making. Right? Let me give you an example. Let's say that Vodafone, everybody's heard of Vodafone? Right? Let's say that Vodafone was deciding to come in to set up their business in Romania, as an example. Right? They would have required a lot of information about the Romanian market. Who were the current existing telephone companies in Romania? What were the tariff rates? Were people in Romania using cell phones? Who were using cell phones? What were the usage patterns? How much money were people willing to pay for different plans? Was it only voice? Was it data plus voice? Etc. etc. Right? So a whole lot of information that Vodafone would have required before they took the decision to come to Romania. Right? It is companies like eValueServe that actually create this information. Right? We look at the existing market. We look at the existing information and the situation. We bring it all together and we provide a recommendation to our clients. Right? I'm sure everybody has heard about Bank of Transylvania, right? Okay. Let's talk about banks. So, as an example, Bank of Transylvania, well, some of us have accounts with Bank of Transylvania. Bank of Transylvania obviously has a lot of money, right? The standard avenues are the stock market, maybe investing in real estate, maybe investing in gold, maybe investing in currencies or oil, etc. Right? But everybody in the world is doing that. Right? So what is the advantage that Bank of Transylvania can get? That is where a company like eValueServe comes into the picture, and then we start giving them ideas. We say, okay, the whole world is investing in these places. Why don't you look at investing in rice, right? Or aluminum, or copper? Or why don't you look at investing in certain private companies, let's say in Africa, right? In South Africa? Because those are the avenues where not everybody is investing, and therefore the rate of return that you can possibly get is going to be much higher. Okay, has everybody's heard of ING? Yeah. Okay. ING has an insurance division, right? And how do these insurance companies come up with different products that they come and they try and sell to us? It is companies like eValueServe that looks at all their data, does an analysis on the trends, and tries to find out what is the best combination that people are looking for and what is the price that they are willing to pay for this. Right? Has everybody heard of partea and vaccine? Yeah, okay. So that is it's a pharmaceutical company. They make medicines. Right? For example, let's say that they have discovered, they developed a new medicine, right, that does not exist. Okay, let me take another example. I'm sure everybody will identify with. Everybody's heard of this company called Pfizer. Yeah. Name one really popular medicine that they make before. Okay, I'll just say it out loud. Viagra. Okay? Now, that was, on a more serious note, that was a medicine that never existed in the market, right? Now, when Pfizer came out with this drug, it was a whole new drug. They had no idea what sort of pricing they should be using. They had no idea what sort of volumes would be demanded, etc., etc. Right? So it is companies like eValueServe that did the research and recommended to Pfizer what the pricing should be and what the expected volume growth is likely to be over a 10-year period. Right? And you need to take into account the fact that it's a new drug, it is going to be patent protected, but then after a certain amount of time, the patent protection is going to go away, which means that other companies are going to come up with similar drugs, and therefore the competition levels are going to increase, etc., etc. Right? That is the sort of analysis that eValueServe